Good evening. Happy Wednesday evening. Welcome back to this episode of Saigon Block Marathon Madness. Let's begin. All right, season 3, episode 25, French Lick with Math. Oh, heck no. And then season 8, episode 50, Wacky Day Off 2. So, the first one is 8th grade year again. So, um, which is French Lick with Math. Oh, heck no. First of all, let me explain the French Lick. Now, French Lick is a city here in my home state of Indiana, which is a very fancy city with lots of resorts and hotels and casinos, and everyone's like fancy, kind of, and rich, and it's just crazy. Now, it's a really nice city. It was like, you don't feel like you're in Indiana, okay? You feel like you're kind of in maybe like California or more so Vegas. It's crazy. Now, and everyone like eats like baked. I mean, I think it's like um the I can't the they kind of is inspired by France, and like that's why I think it's called foot check, and they like to have their breadsticks and like cheese and wine um and sausages cut off, cut, like, no, not bologna, what is it? Pepperoni. They have like pepperoni, like charcuterie board. That's what you think of when you think of Flint Shook, Indiana. And this girl, Hannah, who's been driving Hunter crazy, one of her nicknames, she has two nicknames. Hunter calls her two nicknames to himself. He don't say this to her, but to himself, is her nickname is one Lusty and Dusty because her hair is kind of like purple and black, uh, kind of like an emo almost, and it's like Lusty with like dusty hair. It's like dirt. I don't know, but anyway, that's my first two, and then I call her Flint Chick because that's where she's from, and the people there are kind of like rich and like fancy. She's not. That's why I also call her Lusty. But they're also like rich and classy. But you know how rich people are, right? They're stuck up and they don't. And they're like, like, I'm so powerful, like, I'm really powerful, and welcome, they have an accent, and they have personality, but they're also like stuck up and like, hey, I paid million, I got all this money, I got this, bread, and I got I got a wonderful wife, and like I got a pool in my backyard, and but get away from me, you look poor, stuff like that. And they're kind of like they look classy, but they're actually sassy. That's who Hannah is. She don't look, but she's sassy. She's not really classy, but she has an attitude like she's like a rich person. From foot check, it makes perfect sense. Why? Because that's where she grew up, and she can't help where she grew up, of course, but that's just her personality toward Hunter. So, and she's not very smart. She's with math, and Hunter isn't either. But she's like horrible, and she's like slow. Like Hunter kind of, takes time too, but he gets it quicker a little bit when she gets help, one-on-one help, not with like 3 to 1, I mean 4 to 1 help with Erica. So Flint chick is Hannah, this girl. So that's the backstory of it. Okay, so let's begin. It starts off, he gets breakfast. He goes to Breakfast Club with Erica Corden Vander Brandon is still here. This is before the craziness went down, before the um, Brotherhood 2.0 got dismantled. Um, so Corden, Way, Vander, and Brandon, and me and Erica, the whole 9 yards. They eat breakfast, they chit chat. It's still the Boyhood 2.0, so they do some activities. Um, and then he goes to language arts with Miss Hendricks, and this is like early on, so they're beginning to give her. They're doing the first couple of chapters, and then they have like an activity. Reading with Miss Warnock, they're working on their book, and then they have an activity. Plate algebra with Miss Carnell, and Hannah's in that class too, and she drives Hunter crazy there too. It's crazy. But anyway, and another thing with the fun chick, I might talk about it later. But um, I got a joke. But anyway, and then he goes to lunch with the Burrhead. They just have lunch, they chit chat, they do. It's hamburger and French fries day, which he loves. And then that's pretty much it. He goes to study hall, which we don't see. Then he goes to science. I think it's like second week of Miss Mertz at this point, which is long term sub from Miss Fairchild because she's absent. And then, but they have a bell work and then a lesson and an activity choir. Then he goes to choir when Mr. Neville says hi to Jared and Bradley. They work on their singing skills, blah blah blah. And then he goes to geography with Mr. Wiley, in which he has his little wildness in the beginning and throughout the class. Every day it seems like it's crazy. But anyway, then they have a lesson and an activity. Then he goes to resource with Erica, Jennifer, Kava, and Flintship Hannah. And another thing they do when they're classy but they're sassy, and Flintship is like, ah, oh, I bitch, stay away from me. But, ah, you know. But anyway, this episode was so fun. I listed Hannah to her face, and I called her this nickname, Flintship, where she's from, to her face in this portion of the episode. So I do end up saying this nickname to her. I don't say Westine. Well, I did call her Westine Dusty. I called her all the nickname. Never mind. Because when this savage has to list people, they list them to her face, and he's unapologetic. But anyway, yeah. My character's meaner than me personally. I played a very savage, crazy, roasting character. But anyway, on this show, but it's entertaining. But they begin to work on the math, but Hannah gets kind of nagging and sassy, and once Hunter skills coach Eric goes to dinner like every single day, and Hunter's getting sick of it. And Hunter snapped on her before, but this is about to get funny and entertaining. So when Hannah wants attention, Hunter says, "You better be quiet. Let me get the," not like that, but you better be quiet. You're from Flintshire and you're getting sassy. I know how you people are, and I bet your dad, is rich and sassy as well, and you don't know how to do math. You think in a fancy area you would know math, and that was the biggest one of those. Like, you're from a fancy area. I thought you were from a big city. I thought they taught math really good. I thought they were business people and rich people, and but you're lusty and dusty. You're from, get away from us. Let me do this assignment. Stuff like that. Um, then Miss Warnock doesn't like it, so he takes Hunter to hall. They get tattooed, okay. Hunter gets back in there. He could somewhat loses them, but they get the assignment done. Thank God. The bell rings at 3:35. He goes home, and when he goes, he says, "Bye, friendship, Hannah. Do better next time with that." Anyway, But he goes home and that's it. Now, season 8, episode 50, Wacky Day Off 2. So this day is a day off because the teachers are doing some training. This happens every once in a while. So he's at home, he chit chats with mom and his brother Luke, just like the good old lockdown days. But this time they don't have no ironing to do. Um, but in this episode, they chit, Hunter eats breakfast, and then he just watches some TikTok and stuff. Oh, and then he actually goes to Hartwood, and he's not late this time. There's another day that they had off that he was gonna go in, but he was a little bit late, but he still did it anyway. But this time he gets breakfast, and then Mom and Hunter go over to Hartland. So Hunter does Hartland. It's English Day today, so that's why he doesn't want to miss it. So, but it's kind of a wacky day because he's not used to just doing, having um, only a half day um, with no other classes other than just the English. He's used to English and his high school classes, but it's kind of wacky feeling today. But he goes to English. Um, they do the bell work, and then they have an activity, and then they still have their 15 to 20-minute break. Because even though Hunter School is off, Heartland still goes, and the other schools that also go to Heartland are still going. So that's why he's able to go because Heartland isn't off today. Um, but Hunter's main school is. But he goes to his break. They still have the same normal schedule. And then they go to then they do their other activity. In the class, Hunter's all catched up on stuff and has a good grade in English. With Miss B, I forgot to mention, he is able to, because Wednesday is a preschool day, he is able to teach his lesson. So he has like a lesson. I think he teaches theme lesson today, probably, or physical activity. So he does his physical activity lesson. The kids are excited to see him. They do their lesson. They do like an activity. They do like a game. And then Mr. Hunter is done. He says bye to the kiddos, and then he goes back to English, and then they're working on a book. So they're working on their book. Um, and then they do like activity based off the questions about the chapter they read, and then they do a short activity, and then the bell rings, and the mom picks him up, and Luke is with them, his brother, and then they go to like this Mexican restaurant. They have lunch, which is their favorite restaurant, and still is my personal favorite restaurant when I'm in Wabash, in my hometown, my home city. It's a city. Um, but they have lunch. It's all good, and then they do some other errands. I think they go to a store, and then they go home. Um, they do Hunter and Luke do some games and do some activity. And then actually, Hunter meets with his his skills coach. It's not Erica this time. It's a couple years later. It's Kelly this time. So he goes with his skills coach, Kelly. They chit chat. They do some activities. They do some games. They they do some stuff like that. And then he goes back. Then Kelly takes him back home, and then um, he does some dancing dance and relaxes, does an activity, and then he calls it a day. So that is it for this episode of Satchel Rock Marathon Madness. Um, and I'll see you Thursday night for another episode of Satchel Rock Marathon Madness. So I'll see you then. God bless and protect each and every one of you, and I'll see you next time. Bye.